end of this week's
Can I
episode.
just give one shout out to a report that came up at the Global Anti-Scam Summit? Sorry to interrupt, Luce. It's by Paul Raphael and a few co-authors for the NCRI, and it's about sextortion of teen boys from ranging from the age of 12 to 17. There has been a 1,000% surge in incidents over the last 18 months, at least 21 youth suicides, and behind it is a West African cybercriminal group called the Yahoo Boys. Paul gave a very moving speech and actually talked about some of the individuals who had taken their own lives. Often, as you said in your intro, Lucian, the time between first contact and the child taking their own life was as little as half an hour. And these are kids with no history of mental health. They've had some little flirty exchanges, been coerced into or persuaded to share intimate photographs, and then immediately the extortion starts. And these are people who are young, they don't know where to turn, they're devastated. And it was, for Know Your Customer nerds, a very interesting fact came out, because after this report, which was clearly highlighting some weaknesses in the security of several platforms, there was one called Wiz. I don't know if you've heard of it, Kieran and Lucian. I hadn't heard of it. But after that report came out, they implemented a safety feature that required all profiles to be verified, meaning that they made sure that the profile pictures on the accounts matched a real face, biometric scan, to ensure that they were really representing themselves and not a fake identity. Now, Kieran, Lucian, we've been working on studying Know Your Customer techniques, and one of the big gaps that we've been struggling with is there isn't really much proof that it works. But what Paul Raphael told me in a follow-up exchange was, that after those changes had been made, the number of incidents on the platform Wiz went right down. They also prevented scammers from taking kids off the platform. So it shows that, we're in this sort of moment of despair, feeling like cybercrime and these extortions and deaths of young kids who are at an age where they're sort of exploring their sexuality, and people take advantage of it. Kieran, implementing small things can work.
Yeah, Emily, thank you so much for that. And, this is a really seriously part of the internet, seriously. Kieran, I'm going to let you respond to that. I know we're taking a bit more time today, but this is an enormous. The guy was telling these stories of people, people who had attacked children and they'd taken their own lives and were boasting about how the children were begging for their lives. I mean, this was probably the most shaming thing to be a person who actually is part of the internet ecosystem, to see it working so efficiently to attack children. And you've got young people. I know there's a whole swathe of the internet which is like, what about the kids? But this goes beyond everything, surely.
Yeah, I've heard stories anecdotally like this, but that's really shocking. With a totally different hat on, I sort of created a educational course to try and help children 11 to 14 get an understanding of this. And unfortunately, especially in the UK where they made it compulsory, a lot of children are being taught fundamental things to understand, and also which includes don't take explicit photos and share them with people that you don't know. And they're sort of instilled in them at an earlier age. But I do feel that we had a generation who are really taking the brunt of this technology and haven't had those lessons instilled, and it's just awful to hear.
And now, with AI, these kids think that they are taking photos and sharing it with people that they know, girls in their class. We had one case in Scotland. It's a very important subject, and I want to keep coming back to it. And with that, on that serious note, I'm going to end with another quote that we saw written on a wall this week. In the comments, please guess who this is from. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. Thank you very much.